Good morning. Bless upon yourself and bless upon yourself and thanks for being here again. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the channel, man. Bless up yourself. But again, it seems like the Leon Bailey situation is like a never-ending stop situation where he will be continue to link with a number of club around the world, but this one seems like there is something in the pipeline that it might happen, but then again, Jadon Sancho, link with Roma again. Can Roma afford both players at the same time? I know both deals, they're trying to do, a loan option with Leon Bailey as one to buy, in the future. So I don't know if that one will materialize up, but again, the discussion that is going on and the reports that is going on, it seems like this one is a little bit closer than the previous link that the FC Neom in Saudi Arabia and the Besiktas, the Fenerbahce, and I'm going to talk about, look, the Jonathan Russell situation of Jonathan Russell. Would you say he answered the critics of his manager, called him out, in the press conference after the game that they played? They said, look, if you need me to reinstate you back into the first team, show me why you deserve to start the game from the get-go. And he also did that and scored a goal in the Carabao Cup. And Demarai Gray, Birmingham fans been raving, since that last game at home versus Sheffield United, that they won their EFL Cup game as well. And a young player that it seems like this will be the final straw, the final jigsaw for him in the second tier of Slovenian football. Shakwan Satchwell, a former, St. Andrew Technical High School Manning Cup player, former Portmore player as well, played in the Jamaican Premier League. So knowing been playing there, a couple seasons now, being in the second tier, doing his thing, I'm going to discuss as well. But again, man, I will be right back after this. So the Leon Bailey situation of, the big news that came out yesterday in the afternoon that, look, Roma is in talks about what kind of deal, they're trying to materialize for Leon Bailey. And again, I'm going to say this: any club that coming in for Leon Bailey, one of the stumbling blocks that they're going to get over to get this deal done, it's not about the permanent transfer. It's not just about the loan deal. It's about the salary, the 6 million a year salary. Not many clubs around will give Leon Bailey that money. Not many clubs will offer that same amount of salary, and or will cover that 6 million per year, on a loan deal. Look, a club like Roma, I know, they're in the Europa League, fantastic job done by Claudio Ranieri to get them, from out of the relegation to get them into Europe as well. So he did a fantastic job. So that would have bring in a little bit of extra bit of revenue. I know when you qualify for the Europa League, you will get, I think, around 20 plus million just for qualify for that competition as well. So there will be a little bit of, pocketed, from the Europa League money that they would get, just to enter in that competition as well. But is it enough? Is it enough to prize away a Leon Bailey? But again, I just think that this deal might be the deal that, this is one that I probably think it probably could happen, because of so many reports, important figures, people that normally discuss transfer, people that normally, doing the reports, on social media, they are the one that reporting that, look, something is there and a deal being discussed. And then when you look at the article that David Arstein put out, that, look, there's discussion as well that should Leon Bailey move away from, the main group of the senior team and start to train on his own, just for discussion to continue. And let's see if there will be a deal that will materialize out in the near future. So again, the 6 million per year, that's still a whole sum of money for a lot of clubs to give him. And if it's going to be a loan deal, one of the stumbling blocks again, how much percentage out of that will Roma pay and how much Aston Villa willing to pay? So these are some of the stuff that I guess would have been going in negotiation at this moment, in about what is a scale balance of both clubs, willing to pay. Yeah. So again, the 6 million, it's still a lot, but I never see this one coming about Chippy moving to the Serie A. I never see this one coming. Look, as much as I said before that his career in the Premier League have been below par, it's like a mediocre player in the Premier League. Yeah, in performances, you cannot just put in that one season and said, okay, that season, he's a brilliant Premier League player. No, he's still a below par. You still can get more out of him. And I guess a lot of clubs seeing that, look, there's still a little bit of potential needs to be drained out of Leon Bailey. And can he, man up? Can he start to, get on that level of knowing that, look, this is my last chance. Moving to Roma, moving to Besiktas, moving to any other of those clubs will be the last jigsaw of him getting into a top club. And look, Besiktas is a top club, in Turkey. Fenerbahce is a top club in Turkey, managed by one of the greatest manager in the game, Jose Mourinho. Look, Roma is a top club in the Serie A. Gladiarini once was there. No, it's Gasparini, and Gasparini been known in Italy as the magic man to make things work. And if you look at the story, look at the players that he brought in at Atalanta. Look at how he makes them tick. Look at how he makes that team tick on a shoestring budget, competing in Europe, competing in the Italian Serie A, season after season, qualifying for like the Champions League, the Europa League and stuff like that, giving, that club an extra bit of boots. Look, they will be getting backing from the UEFA with their money that they're pumping in the Europa League and also the UEFA Champions League. So again, that will be a lot. But then again, if you really look at it, is it that Gasparini can get the best of a Chippy if he can get the best of out of a Jadon Sancho? I don't know what is the reason behind. Why is it that Leon link with that team, Jadon link with that team, and it's everyone is like a combination of both players been linking with the same team over and over. We saw it, with even Fenerbahce. We saw it even with, a Besiktas. No, it's AS Roma. And no, AS Roma connect with Manchester United that, look, they need a loan deal for Jadon Sancho. But again, what will be the stumbling block around even a Jadon Sancho deal? It's that 13 million annual salary. 13 mil. Yes, 13 million Jadon Sancho is earning at United on an annual salary. So if you combine both players, annual salary, that's close to 20 million per year. Not sure if Roma can really afford those wages and compensate those players 100% wage until the end of next season. So again, it's going to it's all going to go down to how much they're willing to pay and what are the clauses going to be in both player contract. And again, can they afford both? That's the big question needs to be asked. But then again, I would love to see a Leon in the Italian Serie A. Again, I never see this one coming off him linking with AS Roma, but this will be the last jigsaw for Leon, at this moment in his career. Of a big top club will coming in for him. He's 27, going into 28, I think. So him have to make this work. There's no turning back after this. Him have to just know, say him go ahead, put in the work, do what he needs to do. If the club willing to buy him at the end of his contract when the loan deal finish, kudos. That mean you went there and you did something good. But again, Roma, living in Rome, living in Italy, I think that might suit the player as well in terms of we know him as a fashion player. He likes the limelight, he likes the shopping and the glitter and the glamour and all that stuff. So Rome is not just a place, but Milan is there as well. It's just in Italy. The fashion world is huge, so let's see what will happen. But again, let me just ask a question. Is it a good thing for Jaden and Leon to be in around the same club at the same time, playing for the same manager? And can Gasparini get the best out of the two players that are currently at this moment are playing way below than the average, quality that they can bring to the table for any football club? So again, man, let's see what's going to happen in the coming days. But it seems like the Jadon Sancho one is connecting enough. They want that to be a straight up loan. But again, the Chippy one, it seems like it's a loan with an option on the table to buy. It's a little bit more cheaper. Yeah. So let's see if they're willing to go and get both players. But moving on, the Jon Russell in a situation of where the team have played 2 games, in the League One campaign so far, and he's yet to play, you will say, probably 50 minutes of the League One campaign. The team have played, 180 plus minutes, and he's not even played probably 50 out of that, so goes to say, one of the leading marksmen for that football club last season is struggling to get into the starting 11. Now, we saw the press conference, the preview of the build-up for the Carabao Cup, and the coach have said, look, and this is what you have to say around, Jon Russell at the time. Look,
chomping at the bit and putting a performance in to go, this is why you shouldn't leave me out. So I'll be looking forward to that.
So yeah, the gaffer went there and he said that before the game, and what Russell did, he plugged him in the starting lineup, and it took minutes before Jonathan Russell got on the score sheet. Yeah, and look, a lot of people, might have their discussion about, his flaws around the national team, and he don't really offer much on the ball, off the ball. But again, when you have a midfielder that is going to get you the goals, that going to score the goals, and I think this is his 7th or 8th goal for this football club since this manager have appointed at the football club. I think this is first of the season, and he scored like 7 of those in the last 10 games of that League One campaign. So again, I said he know how to get the goals, for Conor Uran. He went out there, and this is what you want players to do. Like, you get your opportunity, you scored. He's not like probably, Roman Burrell, someone that got, a few chances in that game, versus Plymouth, and he couldn't, put the ball in the back of the net. I just think that header should have scored by Roman Burrell. But again, Russell came from the back post, and he showed you, and he delivered, and this is what you're going to get, from Jonathan Russell. He's just a fantastic player in terms of know where to be at the right time, and you just have to just set bodies, set plays. You have to, bring the right people around him to help to complement his game, because he's not the most mobile. He's not the one that's going to give you the most nice and pretty build-up play. But again, if you put the ball at his foot, he will get the job done. If you put the ball on his head, he will get the job done. So Jonathan Russell answered the critics about, this is why you need to put me back into the team, and going forward, I'm going to see if this manager will start Jairus in the next game coming up as well. And again, the transfer window, is still open, where you still have a few more weeks, where, Jairus is still on the edge of, you don't know, like, going into his last phase of his final year of the contract. Will he stay same way? I don't know if Conor Oran feel like, because the player is on the edge of, his contract is wiring down, and, might be looking to cash in if that moment come. I'm not sure, but again, it's something that, it close by, it's something that, look, you need to keep, notice of, and see what's going to happen with Jairus and Barnsley. Interesting things at Barnsley Football Club with Jonathan Russell. And again, Demarai Gray, I would say, the Birmingham fans been raving. Yeah, the Birmingham fans been raving about a Demarai Gray performance. I was surprised that Demarai Gray even did start level of continuity, and they need to keep their players, that they key players they're going to be key figure in the championship season, need to keep them going. And he gave them Gray, the first half, and that's it. That's all it takes. He got an assist, and if you look at the assist, the commitment of chasing that ball show that he willing to fight for the crest. And Can we see a level of performances like this where he lose the ball for the Reggae Boy team and he's hunting back down the ball impact, but what are the level of standards that around the national team? Who will set these standards to know that, look, it doesn't matter who you are, Leon Bailey, Demarai Gray, whoever you are, once you lose the ball, there should be a level of commitment, try to chase that football back down and close down the opponent team. So this is why we need him to move away from the Saudi Arabia League. You're not going to get these stuff, from Demarai Gray playing into the Saudi League. I never seen stuff like this. Yeah, I seen the potential that him have and what he can bring to the football club, and he shows a little bit of his skill sets. But again, you never really see these types of commitment for the 2 seasons that he spent in Saudi Arabia. And again, Birmingham will get the best out of him. Just Birmingham alone, wearing that blue jersey, at St. Andrews, will get the best out of him. And I'm going to say this as well. Another player, moving away from Demarai Gray a little bit, Shakwan Statuel, the player that is currently playing in Slovenian second tier football, scored like 8 goals last season, got on the score sheet already for his football club. I think it's Rudar. I think, this is his second stint at the football club. He signed a 2-year deal last summer. This will be, he's going into his last year of his contract, and he's under the same management as a Ronaldo Cephas, as a Kaim Dixon. I think his name is Cohen. So with him playing in the second tier of Slovenian football, I think this player has something to offer into a better team and into a better league. Is it that he's going to go up in the higher tier of Slovenian first tier to a better club? I'm not sure as it around the situation with his transfer saga, what is going on. But again, I know for sure there will be clubs in the first tier be looking at him. I think he just has something to offer. Then I think the way how his body built is getting a little bit taller. It seems like he's getting a little bit stronger. He's a center forward. He's scoring goals, and I think if he can match the 8 goals or even score more than what he did last season, there will be no doubt that there will be a club next summer for the player. And if in January, you never know. But again, I would love for him to stay in this league, stay at this football club, get the minutes, get the games, and then move on at the end of his contract. And I think that will happen. But again, I think a lot of people might not know the work that this player is doing and putting in this club at this point. But he's doing some serious work. He's getting the minutes. The club believe in him. The club is giving him the minutes as well. So, and he's delivering. When he get the opportunity as well. So, and it's not like it's a top club in the league that he's playing in the second tier of Slovenian football. It's a team that below standard, where finishing just above the relegation job. So again, he's doing a pretty good job at that level for a mediocre team in that division. So let's see what Shakwan Sashwell will bring to the table. But again, man, look out for this player. I think him do have something special. I think Kaim Paris was playing in that division as well, and then he got that move. Then he went to, I don't remember if it was Kaim Paris or Norman Campbell, but one of them got that move. She even think Shaman Nicholson, I think, was in that country as well. So things can do get materialized, if the player continue to do the groundwork, continue to score goals, and it will happen. But again, man, this player, things will happen for him, and he's putting in the work, and he seems like a very good lad, seems like a very good player in terms of always taking care of himself and stuff like that. But bless up on yourself. Thanks for watching. This is Nicardo Media House. I'm out. Ciao, ciao.